My hair is total chaos. I'm at Stanford Hospital and I got here on Saturday. Wait, today's only Sunday. Is that true? Wow. Feels like so much has happened, but I came on Saturday. Friday night I went to bed and had a really hard time sleeping. I was having a lot of pain in this breast and I didn't, I was like asleep, so I couldn't really tell that I was having any kind of big problem. I just thought I was sore. I had taken a hot Pilates class earlier in the day, and before that, I felt flu-ish. I felt like I had the flu. I was getting body aches and stuff. And then by the time I came home later in the evening, I started getting really flu-like symptoms, and I had a fever that was 101.5. And then I went to bed and had this restless sleep and stuff. And then when I woke up, my right breast, which it's been till now, my left breast has been the one that's caused me problems. But the right breast, I'm trying not to cover the speaker, was inflamed, red, throbbing, swollen, and filled with fluid. So I knew that there was obviously something going on, and there could have been an infection that we didn't know about. On Tuesday also, I was kind of vomiting all day, most of the day, and I thought that I got food poisoning, and I'm still not sure if that's what it was, but there might have been a connection. But basically I wrote an email to my plastic surgeon and said, what should I do, it's Saturday, and he said, come down to Stanford ER. So we did, and it took a long time for them to get us into a room, but they started putting some general antibiotic into me, and then I'm gonna do this. I guess it started over. So yeah, they put some general antibiotic into me, took my blood, and my white blood count cells were up a little bit, so that showed there could be a possible infection. And then basically they admitted me into the room around 7 or 8 p.m., so it was kind of evening. We were getting tired. A lot had been done already in the day, and they knew that they'd be aspirating me today, meaning removing the fluid. So my plastic surgeon, Dr. Nazarali, came in, and he did it actually in a way that was much more comfortable than the way they had done it in another department. But he went into the kind of top near the tissue expander, and he stuck some kind of needle in, and a whole bunch of fluid came out. He wasn't really prepared for it. He doesn't usually do that part of the job. And then so he took another needle in and sucked it all out and was pushing on the breast so he could get any fluid that was in between the expander and my tissue out of there as much as possible. So now I have to wear this binder, this compression device, which I had on for a little bit after surgery, but at that time they told me it wasn't really necessary for me to wear it, so I didn't. And now he said once they took out the fluid from, the saline out of the expander, because they had to do that in time for me to get set up for radiation, that it increased with fluid, and I should have had an expander on. And so I'm like, okay, well, that would have been nice to know. I didn't know that then, but I know it now. So basically the possibilities are that actually when he got into the room, I was like, okay, I want the expanders to come out if I have to do surgery. What do you think about that? And he said, I don't think it's a good idea, and here's why. So he convinced me that wasn't a good idea to do that for multiple reasons. One of them being that the radiation really just destroys the skin, and it'll contract so far, and they won't be able to expand it out, and they won't be able to put any kind of implant. They can't do anything with that, basically. It'll just be this very dense, thick, burned, contracted kind of skin that they can't do anything with. That's one thing. I'm feeling kind of out of it. I had an Ativan because I thought they were going to stick me in the side to aspirate, and they didn't, so it's making me even more tired than normal. But the other thing was the other reason. He just said also, you have a really good outcome, and I feel like what a great job they did. My breasts are going to be looking amazing. I mean, they do actually look amazing now. They're just not complete. So, what was I going to say about that? So anyway, yeah, they're going to test the serous fluid that came out of me and see if there's any kind of infection in there. It didn't look cloudy or anything, and they're not expecting there to be, but if there is, then they might have to go in, remove the expander, wash it out again, and put it back in. And we read something that said that the rate of complication that one undergoes when they're dealing with implants is parallel to the rate of complication they'll undergo when dealing with implants, and Dr. Nazreli said that's just not true. So he cited a bunch of other statistics that weren't like what we had read. So it's tough, when you're trying to do like your own research and they're telling one thing and you read another, and there's so many variables that sometimes I think like you can't just really take what you read on the internet and say that's how it is, because there are a lot of variables that we might not know that go into it. So I'm expecting to be here another day while they monitor me and see if the redness is going away, and hopefully they'll get the results from the serous fluid, whatever, testing it. So yeah, it's like I'm glad to be in such good hands, but it's also just hard to be here, being in a hospital setting. I went and took a walk with my monitor. It's like, or whatever that is, I call that the monitor. I had to like walk through the hall. John is pushing it behind me, and I did like a lap basically. And I mean, just walking is my form of exercise. It's kind of crazy. That would normally not be anywhere near the amount of exercise I would want or need. So I feel lethargic and like heavy, but I need to be here, and I need to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and taking it one day at a time, because that's all I've got. It's really impossible to be able to pre-think how it's going to go and know what's ahead, especially in the beginning when I went down this path. It's just such a unique situation for each person, because you really don't know how things are going to go for them. So much of it depends on the body's response, and a lot of variables that they can't predict. There are likelihoods and tendencies, but still they can't really predict how people will respond. So so here I go, carrying on. Like, I feel a lot more relief, though, actually, in the breast. I think the compression helps, but the fact that they removed the fluid, because it was just so uncomfortable. Even getting out of this bed was uncomfortable, having all that fluid in there, so that's great. And John's going out and getting us some amazing Indian food that we found down here in Palo Alto. Oh my God, it was so good. So that's going to be our treat, and we're going to watch football from the hospital room and eat our Indian food. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Just tired and bedraggled, as usual. That's how I look. That's how I feel most of the time. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Take care.